What happens when Spider-Man asks Doctor Strange to make everyone forget his secret? Things go very wrong. The spell rips open the multiverse. That means many different worlds crash together. The story starts in New York City. Peter Parker is Spider-Man, but now the whole world knows who he really is. Mysterio told everyone Peter's secret before he died. He also blamed Peter for the drone attack in London. People think Peter is a dangerous criminal. Overnight, everything changed. Angry crowds follow Peter and MJ everywhere. Reporters chase them down every street. Peter has no choice. He grabs MJ and swings them both to safety. They go back to his apartment. Happy Hogan is already there. Happy awkwardly says he and May broke up. May explains that Happy never really opened up about his feelings. Before they can talk more, officers from the Department of Damage Control show up. They arrest Peter. They say he ordered the drone strike on London. Peter's friends and Aunt May get taken in for questioning too, but nothing can be proven. The attack used Stark Industries drones. No real proof points to Peter. Still, most people think he's guilty. Someone even attacks his apartment. Peter and May have to move in with Happy to stay safe. The next morning, Peter goes back to Midtown School with MJ and Ned. Other students treat them like a circus show. Cameras follow them everywhere. To get away from the noise, the three friends go up to the rooftop. They make a plan together. They will all apply to MIT. They want to start a new life side by side. They send in their applications with hope, but MIT rejects all three of them. Because of all the trouble around Peter, no college will take any of them. Ned and MJ try to make Peter feel better. They tear up the rejection letter and say they have no regrets. But Peter sees the truth. Their futures got taken away because of him, and they did nothing wrong. That's when he thinks of Doctor Strange. Peter goes to the New York Sanctum. He finds Strange and explains everything. He asks if there's any spell that can make the world forget his secret. Strange listens carefully. He says they only messed with space and time before to save lives. Now Peter wants magic because his personal life got hard. Peter reminds him that innocent people are suffering. Ned and MJ are losing their future just for knowing him. Strange feels bad for Peter, but without the time stone his options are small. Peter says sorry and starts to leave. Then Wong casually mentions that Strange is actually really good at making people forget things. Hearing this, Strange stops. He tells Peter about the rune of Cagliostro. It's a spell that can erase memories. It won't turn back time, but it will make the whole world forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Wong warns them right away. The spell is dangerous. Strange says they've used similar magic before, and Peter has already been through enough. Wong agrees but warns Strange plainly. If anything goes wrong, Strange is on his own. Strange brings Peter down to the basement and starts casting the spell, but Peter panics. He asks if certain people can be left out of the spell. Strange warns him that changing the spell halfway is very risky. Peter keeps asking, so Strange changes it. MJ will still remember. Then Peter remembers Ned. He asks Strange to spare him too. Strange is already annoyed. He makes the change and tells Peter that's the last one. Then Peter remembers Happy and Aunt May. Strange loses his patience. He made too many changes because of Peter's constant asking. The spell becomes unstable and bursts out with dangerous energy. Strange barely stops it in time. He traps the broken spell inside a magical crystal box. Peter asks if it worked. Strange says nothing happened at all. Peter's interruptions made the spell impossible to control. Strange had to shut it down completely. He warns that if he hadn't stopped it when he did, the results would have been unthinkable. Peter says sorry right away. Strange then asks him something. Did Peter actually talk to MIT before coming here? Peter looks confused. Strange stares at him. Peter never even tried calling the admissions office before asking to erase the whole world's memory. Frustrated and tired, Strange throws Peter out next. Flash got into MIT. Peter asks where the celebration party is. Flash asks why he wants to know. Peter says he needs to talk to the MIT admissions officer so Ned and MJ might still have a chance. Flash tells him the admissions head is a woman and she already left for the airport. Peter rushes there. He sees her car stuck in traffic on a bridge. He goes up to her and begs her to give his friends another chance. He asks her not to punish them for something they didn't do. Before she can answer, everything changes. Dr. Octopus appears out of nowhere. He has 4 giant metal tentacle arms. He starts attacking everyone. People scream and run everywhere. The MIT woman gets trapped inside her car. Peter has no idea who this man is or where he came from. But Doc Ock attacks Spider-Man right away. A huge fight breaks out. In the middle of it, the woman's car starts sliding off the bridge. Peter breaks free and saves the car just in time. He holds it steady with his webs, but Doc Ock attacks again. He rips off a piece of Peter's iron spider armor. The nanotechnology sticks to Octavius's tentacles. Peter's mask peels back. His face is showing. Octavius freezes. This is not the Peter Parker he knows. In that Same moment, Peter realizes the nanobots connected the tentacles to his suit. He can control them now. Using Octavius's own arms against him, Peter lifts the trapped woman back to safety. He ties up Doc Ock with his own tentacles. He helps the woman out of her car. She tells Peter he's a real hero. She promises to personally reconsider the applications for him and his friends. Peter is so happy. He turns to Doc Ock and asks who he is. But before Octavius can answer, Green Goblin shows up. He throws a pumpkin bomb at them. Before the blast hits, Doctor Strange uses magic and pulls both Peter and Doc Ock back into the sanctum basement. He locks Octavius inside a magical prison cell. Strange then explains what happened. The broken spell tore open pathways between universes. People from other realities got pulled through. Specifically people who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. The multiverse is real. Peter is shocked. Strange says he also found a giant scary lizard named Dr. Kurt Connors who slipped through from another world. He warns there could be many more dangerous visitors out there. He needs Peter to catch all of them and bring them to magical cells while Strange finds a way to send them back. Peter nervously brings up MIT. Strange ignores him. He takes Peter's web shooter and enchants it. Now whenever Peter catches one of the visitors, they get sent straight to a magical prison cell. Peter is impressed. He admits this is all his fault. He promises to fix it. But he says he needs help. So he calls Ned and MJ to the sanctum. When the three of them go down to the basement, Peter says sorry for everything. MJ tells him she's not angry. But next time he makes a decision that could affect the whole world, he should ask them first so they can help. Peter quietly realizes she's right. All three of them start searching social media for reports of the other visitors. Ned finds accounts of big chaos outside the city. People say they saw a strange creature. Peter thinks it must be Green Goblin. But Doc Ock says that's impossible. Norman Osborn died years ago in his world. Peter doesn't answer. He focuses on heading out. Because of all the trouble, people threw things at him and damaged his suit badly. He tries to clean it, but nothing works. With no better option, he turns the suit inside out and wears it backwards before leaving. When Peter gets to the scene, he finds Electro. The guy is pulling power straight from the electrical grid. Electro attacks right away and blasts Peter off his feet. As Peter struggles to stand, Electro gets ready to strike again. But suddenly Sandman steps in and blocks the attack. Sandman wants to know what's happening. Peter quickly explains that he's not Sandman Spider-Man. He'll explain everything later. Right now he needs help stopping Electro. Sandman creates a huge sandstorm and traps Electro inside. Peter rips out the nearby power cables. Cut off from his energy, Electro gets weak and finally goes down. Peter explains to both of them that this is not their universe. Then he sends Sandman and Electro into the magical prison cells. Back at the sanctum basement, the captured villains are confused and uneasy. MJ tells them flat out that they're inside a magical basement. Meanwhile, Norman Osborn is wandering alone. He's really bothered by the dark side of himself, the part he can't control. Broken and desperate, he finds Aunt May's shelter and walks inside, hoping to find help. As soon as Peter learns Norman is there, he rushes over. Norman came looking for the Spider-Man he knows. He thought that Spider-Man would save him. But when he sees Peter, the shock is clear. This is not the Spider-Man from his world. Norman admits he sometimes loses control and becomes someone different. He can't understand what's happening to him. Aunt May looks at him and sees a man who is mentally broken. She asks Peter if all these visitors are like this. Peter explains that every one of them has some kind of problem, physical or mental. That's what made them dangerous. May tells Peter gently that he should help them. Peter pushes back. This is not his job. The best thing is to send them back to their own universes. Sending them home is the only real option. But May reminds him that everyone deserves a second chance. Maybe if someone helps them now, they could change for the better later. Her words stay with him. Soon after, May drives Peter and Norman back to the sanctum. When Peter brings Norman inside, Doc Ock freezes in shock. He looks at Norman and says quietly, "You died." Sandman then explains that both Doc Ock and Norman Osborn died fighting Spider-Man in their own universe. A moment later, Electro remembers the same thing. He died after getting overloaded with electricity during a fight. Just then, Doctor Strange arrives and locks Norman inside another prison cell. He's holding a small old-looking box. Peter asks what it is. Strange explains it's the Machina di Cadavus. The device holds the broken spell inside it. Once he turns it on, it will reverse the broken spell and send every visitor back to their own universes. Peter objects right away. Some of them will be sent back just to die. Strange looks at Peter and tells him plainly, this is their fate. Some people are meant to die, no one can change that. He starts turning on the device. Peter refuses to accept it. it. He grabs the box and runs. Strange chases him. He uses magic to pull Peter's spirit out of his body. Peter is shocked to see his own ghost floating in front of him. But even then, Strange can't take the box. Peter snaps back into his body and keeps running. Strange drags him into the mirror dimension. He bends streets and buildings around them. He reshapes everything to trap Peter from every direction. He finally catches him and takes back the box. Then Strange opens a portal to leave. But Peter notices something. Everything in the mirror dimension is built on math and shapes. He figures out the pattern, traps Strange inside a bunch of interlocking shapes. He takes Strange's sling ring and grabs the box again. Then he escapes back to the sanctum basement. He hands the sling ring to Ned for safekeeping. Doc Ock then asks Peter a direct question. Peter could have easily sent them all back to die, why didn't he? MJ replies quietly that Peter is not that kind of person. Peter tells them all that he believes he can save them. If he can cure them and turn them back into normal people, then when they go back to their own universes, everything might change. Maybe none of them will have to die fighting Spider-Man. With no better option, they agree. Peter gives the box to Ned and MJ. He tells them to protect it. If anything goes wrong, he'll send them a message. They should turn it on right away to end everything. MJ agrees. But she warns Peter that none of these men can be trusted. If she doesn't hear from him, she will turn it on herself. She makes sure the villains hear that clearly, so none of them try anything sneaky. Ned and MJ leave. Peter takes the villains to Happy Hogan's apartment. There he shows them the powerful fabricator machine, the same device he used to build his upgraded suit. Peter decides to help Doc Ock first. With Norman Osborn helping him, Peter designs a new replacement chip. He explains that Octavius once had a chip on the back of his neck. It stopped the tentacles from controlling his mind. That chip got destroyed. That's why he became violent and unstable. Peter finishes the new chip and puts it on Octavius's neck. Right away, Doc Ock calms down. He tells Peter that for the first time in a long time, his mind feels clear. The voices are gone, so happy. Octavius gives back the Iron Spider nanotechnology he took on the bridge. Next, Peter makes a device to cure Electro. It will absorb all his power and turn him back to normal. The machine starts working. Then Peter starts working on a serum for Norman Osborn. But just as he's about to finish, the dark side of Norman wakes up again. Green Goblin is back. Goblin moves through the room quietly. He starts messing with the others. He tells them their powers are not curses, they are gifts. Electro falls for it right away. He grabs the power device from the fabricator and charges himself with even more energy. Doc Ock tries to stop him, but Electro blasts him across the room. Then Green Goblin turns on Peter. He attacks hard. He beats Peter all over the apartment. He laughs at him and tells him that being good is his biggest weakness. Seeing this, Aunt May runs forward to stop Norman. Goblin turns and hits her with his glider. Then he drops a pumpkin bomb and flies away. Peter barely covers May from the blast. May got hurt badly from the glider hit, but she tries to hide it from Peter. Peter blames himself for everything. He says it's all happening because of him. He should have listened to Doctor Strange and sent them back from the start. May gently tells him he did the right thing. Those men would have died in their own universes. He chose to be kind. That matters. Then she looks at him and gives him the lesson that will change his whole life.
And with great power, there must also come great responsibility.
With great power, there must also come great responsibility. Moments later, May starts to collapse. Peter realizes how badly she's hurt. He tries to help her, but it's too late. Aunt May dies in his arms. The police show up outside and surround the building. They think Peter caused all the destruction. They start shooting. With no other choice, Peter escapes into the night. He's broken, tired, drowning in sadness. Meanwhile, Ned and MJ went to his grandmother's house. They saw everything on the news. They're terrified for Peter. MJ is especially worried because he didn't contact her. She thinks there's no more time to wait. She gets ready to turn on the box. But before she can, something unexpected happens. Magic starts coming out of Ned's hands. Because he's wearing Strange's sling ring, something inside him responds to it. Ned focuses hard and says he wants to find Peter. A glowing portal opens in front of them. On the other side stands Spider-Man. But this is not their Peter. They quickly realize he's another version of Spider-Man, one from another universe. MJ isn't sure until he climbs the wall on command. Then she believes him. She turns to Ned and tells him plain that he brought the wrong Spider-Man. Ned tries again. He focuses on the sling ring and opens another portal. A second Spider-Man steps through. This is the older Peter Parker. The two Spider-Men stare at each other in total shock. Their Peter Parker needs help. There's no way one Spider-Man can face that many enemies alone. They have to find him. Ned admits they don't know where Peter is. Then MJ remembers something. Whenever Peter feels overwhelmed or really sad, he goes to the rooftop of Midtown School. So they all go there. Peter is sitting alone on the rooftop, completely shattered. After May's death, MJ gently tells him they brought someone to help. Then she steps aside. For the first time, all three Spider-Men stand face to face. Peter is filled with pain. He tells them May did nothing wrong. She died for no reason. villain. Filled with anger, he says he will turn on the box and send them all back. What happens to the villains after that doesn't matter to him anymore. The Amazing Spider-Man steps forward and stops him. He tells Peter that he once lost Gwen Stacy, the woman he loved. He couldn't save her. That pain nearly destroyed him. But afterward, he chose to keep going and stay the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, because Gwen would have wanted him to keep helping people. Then the older Peter Parker speaks. He tells him that a criminal once killed his Uncle Ben. He wanted revenge more than anything, and he got it. But after that, nothing changed. The pain was still there. That's why they keep helping people, because that's who they are. Hearing them, Peter quietly remembers May's final words. Even while hurt, she told him they did the right thing. The two Spider-Men remind him gently.
She told me that with great power comes great responsibility.
Wait, what? How do you know that?
Uncle Ben said it the day he died.
May's sacrifice will mean nothing if he gives up now. What she believed in has to live on through him. Those words reach Peter. All three Spider-Men get to work. They start building devices that can cure each villain and turn them back into normal people. In a short time, everything is ready. The Amazing Spider-Man lays out the plan. They need to bring all the villains to one place. When they attack, the three Spider-Men will cure them one by one and send them home safely. As Peter loads his web cartridges, the older Spider-Man casually asks why he needs those. Then he shows that he can naturally shoot webs from his own wrists. Everyone stares at him in stunned silence. Tom Holland's Peter lays out the final stage. They will gather everyone at the Statue of Liberty. He admits the monsters are there because of his mistake. Then he invites every villain to come to the Statue of Liberty. That message has one purpose: to bring them all to one place so the three Spider-Men can cure them together once and for all. They wait. While they do, the three Spider-Men finally have time to talk. Tom Holland's Peter asks the other two what kinds of enemies they faced before. Both of them laugh and say he already met most of them. Peter replies casually that he once fought an alien in space. That answer leaves the other two completely shocked. But before anyone can say more, all three sense danger. A moment later, Electro shows up in his powerful new form. He demands that Peter hand over the box so he can destroy it. Without warning, the battle begins. Peter quickly gives the box to Ned and MJ for safekeeping. But Ned still can't fully close the portal he opened with the sling ring. At that same moment, Sandman and Lizard show up and attack. The fight gets crazy fast. The three Spider-Men struggle to work together, so they regroup. The older two admit they never really fought as a team before. That's why it felt awkward. Tom Holland's Peter steps forward as the leader. He tells them to focus, work together and take down one enemy at a time. With a clear plan, they move as one and trap Sandman in a giant web. After a hard fight, they use the cure on him. Flint Marko turns back into a normal human. Next, they go after Electro, but the power he stole from the Fabricator makes him way stronger than any of them expected. The three Spider-Men can't hold him down. Meanwhile, Lizard sees the open portal and runs toward Ned and MJ. Seeing his friends in danger, Peter runs to protect them. He leaves the other two Spider-Men to face Electro alone. Electro blasts them hard, but just in time Doc Ock shows up. Because Peter cured him, Octavius now fights on their side. He grabs Electro and forces the cure device onto him. Seconds later, Max Dillon loses all his power and turns back to normal. At the same time, Tom Holland's Spider-Man catches Lizard and uses the serum on him. Kurt Connors turns back into himself. Meanwhile, Ned accidentally opens a portal right to Doctor Strange. Strange steps through and tries to turn on the box right away. Ned stops him and explains that Peter's plan is working. They're curing everyone. Strange pauses, then agrees to wait. He walks over to Peter and tells him plain. Now it's time to send them home. Strange starts turning on the device. Suddenly, Green Goblin attacks. He hits Strange, grabs the box and tries to get away with it. Doc Ock moves fast and catches Goblin. Strange takes the box back, but Goblin secretly put a pumpkin bomb inside the box before letting it go. The box blows up in Strange's hands. The broken spell starts up again. Reality begins tearing open. Cracks split across the sky. Figures from countless universes start pushing through. All of them people who know that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. At that same moment, MJ slips and falls off the Statue of Liberty. Peter runs to save her, but before he can reach her, Green Goblin smashes into him and carries him away. The Amazing Spider-Man dives after MJ and catches her safely before she hits the ground. As he holds her in his arms, he gets overwhelmed with emotion. He thinks about the day he failed to save Gwen Stacy. This time, he finally saved her. Meanwhile, Strange fights hard to hold back the spell, but it's too unstable now. Cracks spread across the sky. More figures from other worlds push to get through. Using every bit of strength he has left, Strange fights to keep the portals closed. Tom Holland's Peter is in a brutal fight with Green Goblin. He attacks Goblin's glider and blows it apart. They both crash to the ground below. At the same time, Ned almost falls off the Statue of Liberty, but Strange's magical cloak sweeps in and saves him just in time. Peter is full of rage. Everything, May's death, the chaos, the pain, all of it caused by Goblin. He beats him badly. Then he picks up the broken glider and gets ready to stab him with it. He's ready to kill. At the last second, the older Spider-Man steps in and stops him. Without saying a word, he holds Peter back and reminds him what kind of person he really is. Even then, Goblin won't stop. He attacks and stabs the older Spider-Man. He hurts him badly. Seeing this, Peter makes his final choice. Instead of revenge, he puts the cure serum on Goblin. The evil personality disappears. Norman Osborn comes back. He's horrified and ashamed of everything he did. Doctor Strange is still fighting to close the sky. Peter runs to him. Strange explains that people from countless universes are still trying to get in. He can't hold them back much longer. Peter understands. All of them are coming because they know Peter Parker is Spider-Man. So there's only one answer left. Make the whole world forget that Peter Parker exists at all. Strange looks at him and says it will work. But the price is total. Everyone who knows Peter, his friends, his loved ones, the whole world, they will forget him completely. Peter will be a stranger to all of them. Knowing this, Peter accepts it. Strange tells him to say goodbye to the people he loves. There's almost no time left. Peter first turns to the other two Spider-Men. He thanks them for coming to help him. Then he goes to MJ and Ned. With tears in his eyes, he tells them they will soon forget who he is. He promises he will find them again and make everything right. MJ desperately asks if there's another way. Peter quietly tells her there isn't. He promises one last time that he will come back for them. She tearfully accepts it. Doctor Strange casts the spell. One by one, everyone from the other universes goes back home. The cracks in the sky seal shut. Reality is fixed. Everything is finally okay. But now the whole world has forgotten Peter Parker. Later, Peter goes to find Ned and MJ. They don't remember him at all. Still, MJ seems to feel that something about him is strangely familiar. Peter is about to tell them everything. But then he notices the wound on MJ's forehead. The scar she got because of everything he brought into her life. He stops himself. He chooses not to pull them back into danger. After that, Peter visits May Parker's grave. Happy Hogan is also there. But now Happy looks at Peter and sees nothing more than a stranger. Peter moves into a small new apartment. He starts building a life from scratch. He goes back to his studies and he goes back to protecting the city on his own once again. The world forgot him, but he didn't forget what Aunt May taught him, that with great power must also come great responsibility, that everyone deserves a second chance, and that sometimes the most heroic thing a person can do is walk away in silence so the people they love can be safe. Here's a hot take. Peter Parker is the real villain of this movie. He got Aunt May killed because he was too dumb to pick up a phone and call MIT. If he just accepted Doctor Strange's first spell like a normal person, none of the multiverse chaos would have ever happened. Let me know what you think in the comments and please be respectful.